All right, Coach will have an opening statement and then take questions.
Good to get a win. It sure feels better than it did last week. And there's plenty of things that we will find in this game that we felt like we could do better. And there's going to be some things that we'll see that are frustrating. But there are going to be a lot of things that we did really well. And that's good, because those are things we can build on, and positives that we can show our guys and praise them for. And that's good too, to see that there's some improvement. And I thought our guys fought really hard. They played hard, played with effort, played physical. We just didn't execute the fundamentals as well as I'd like to see us execute them at different times during the game. And that's every phase. And again, that's my job as a coach, to get our team to do that. And we got to do a good job as a staff of continuing to teach and getting these guys to play up to the standard that we need them to fundamentally, so that we can be successful. And we got a really, really good football team coming in here next week that everybody's talking about. We're going to have to execute the fundamentals well. But I'm impressed with Liberty. They got some really good players. They were a great looking team physically, and I think Turner Gill does a great job. Very classy guy, very well respected in our profession, and his team played that way. So it's great to get a win over a team like that.
Coach, what would you say the keys were to getting the offense going today? It seemed like you got a lot of players successfully running the ball, which to me sounds like you got the offensive line playing very well.
The offensive line played well. Certainly at times they played particularly well. The plays where we weren't getting yards on first down, we're trying to run the fullback in there and kind of got knocked back, and as either a no gain or a 1 yard gain. We had a couple plays on the perimeter that were working, and we had some good gains, and then a couple times got it out there and couldn't sustain a block or missed on a block, and didn't get ourselves in good situations for second and third down. And that's really the key for our offense, is to get ourselves in a more manageable yardage situation on those later downs in the series. So some really good things, but like I said, there's going to be a lot of things that we're going to be shaking our head at, and our kids are going to know that they can execute better. So Bryce Collins doing a good job leading that group, and they're going to get better as they play. And that's the thing everybody talks about last year's O-line. Those guys played a lot of football together. You interviewed them a zillion times, and these guys seem like they've been around here forever. And so there's a lot of new faces, but they'll improve.
Coach, on defense, it seemed like you got some pressure on their quarterback. You forced 2 turnovers, and your defensive backs were playing very tight coverage today. How did you feel about their play?
We didn't get to him at times, and gave him a chance to throw some long balls, and that's where you really want to see if you can get some pressure on him, so he can't wind up and throw that thing way down the field. They have some very talented receivers, as you can tell. There were a couple plays there. The one on the sideline that Javari was right in that guy's. He was right in there in coverage, had his hand in between the guy's hands, and he brought the ball down. And then the touchdown, we were interfering with him. We were all over him, and he still came down with the ball for a touchdown. So they were very skilled, and we were doing our very best to play tight coverage on those guys so that they couldn't complete those long balls. But give them credit, they hit some, and a lot of intermediate stuff underneath. And they're hitting slants, and they're hitting crossing routes in there, and there were times where it wasn't just a secondary. Some of the underneath droppers, the linebackers, whether it be the inside or outside linebackers, needed to carry some of those routes a little bit better and get underneath them. And those are things that we can improve, and we're going to need to. And I think everybody recognizes the team coming here next week and how well they throw the ball, and it's going to be a lot to handle. So we're going to have to do better in that part.
Coach, in the first half there were 6 penalties for 100 yards, but in the second half you remained totally.
There were 7. Believe me, I saw that. I looked like Roger Rabbit eyes. When that's not who we are. Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, how important was it to play disciplined football in the second half?
It's always important to play disciplined football. It's always important for us to control the things that we can control. And what was particularly frustrating about the penalties, they were big penalties. They weren't, 7 penalties for 100 yards. Holy moly, that's a lot of yards to lose. And the first one was on the ball that we picked up and ran in for a touchdown. And well, we were on our knee, but we blocked behind the ball below the waist. You can't do that on defense or in kicking plays, and we got to know better. The touchdown that got negated on offense, we were blocking back toward the ball below the waist. We can't do that. It's a rule. We've had a lot of conversations with our guys, and other times it's we're holding, we're grabbing onto those guys. We're just trying to sustain a block the best we can. But on one drive, we had 2 blocks below the waist and a holding call on the same drive. It's remarkable that we punted the ball on 4th and 9 or 10, that it wasn't 4th and 30. We didn't do a very good job with those blocks on offense. The blocking below the waist rule has changed and changes the way that they've got to enforce it. It's making our guys a little gun shy, just not throwing and cutting when we've been able to in the past. And I think the guys just see an opportunity to get a guy to the ground, and they're trying to cut block and throw from 10 to 2, which is the rule. And sometimes they just come in from the side, especially the linemen. That's the linemen we're getting is the side blocks, which there was a point just a couple years ago where you could do that. You could cut and block below the waist there, and so it's changed, and we've tried to change the way we coach it, and we're just obviously going to have to improve on that.
Was that frustrating for you though?
That was very frustrating. It's frustrating to just have a positive play, get backed up, and you gotta start over. And the one we had was called on the lineman. We pulled a lineman, and he logged or cut their defensive end. But again, it's one of those blocks that they said it didn't come from the 10 and 2 angle. And it used to be that it didn't matter where that block came from when you were in the tackle blocks. And now it just changes a little bit the way that it's officiated. And I know Jeff and his crew, officiating staff, did a good job. I mean, they've got to enforce it. We got to figure out a way to get those blocks made without blocking them below the waist. But that's a challenge. It's a challenge for this offense and this team. If it continues to go like that, it's going to be really hard for smaller players, which typically we are, to block bigger people. And so we've got to come up with a way to execute that. And we will. I mean, there's other teams running this offense too, and I don't think any of those teams are going to quit running the offense, and we aren't either.
Coach, when the coaching staff was coming up with the game plan this week, was getting Darnell the football early one of the first things you might have written down, or because he seemed to get a lot of touches early?
We really wanted to establish the fullback. We felt like we needed to do that. They also lined up in a defense that they don't line up in at all. So they were in a 3-4 defense. They're a 4-3 defense by design, 8-man front, 4 down. And last year they played Kennesaw State that runs a very similar offense, and they lined up in a 4-3. So they were able to fit their secondary the same, but their front was entirely different from what we practiced all week. So, there's some adjustments on the run there as soon as they come out first play. And our guys have rules, and that's what I really like about the offense. It's ruled up, and they know based on what their alignments are on defense, who we're supposed to block and who we're pitching off of, and who we're arcing on the perimeter and those kinds of things. But still, when you practice for 5 days against a certain defense, and they're in a different defense, there's some adjustment on the run. But I thought Darnell ran the ball really hard. I thought all those D-backs ran the ball hard. And as I said, the O-line at times really was doing a great job knocking them out of there. The slots, we include them sometimes on the fullback dive plays, and they were doing a good job getting their heads in between the tackle and the guy was trying to squeeze on the outside. So really a great team effort there to get the inside run game going.
Can you talk about Fred Cooper's impact on this game in his season debut and how you thought he did?
I thought he did a good job. He had some really good runs on the perimeter. to him coming toward our bench, going toward the scoreboard where he stiff-armed that guy and kept the run going. I mean, he's a very talented player and a very powerful runner. He's a fast runner in the open field. So it's good to see him out there and getting a chance to carry the ball. I think he does that really well. There's a lot of things he's got to improve on as a player, and he's just a sophomore. So we got some time to get him there. But I was encouraged with what I saw.
Steve, the play action touchdown coming out of the half. You said that they changed the look up from what you guys practiced. Was that play something you guys kind of had in your back pocket for a while? Did you kind of think about it at halftime, or how early did you see it, and kind of where did it come about?
We saw the opportunity to throw play action passes even early because of the rotation of the secondary and felt like there was going to be some opportunities. But we tried to throw the hitch route a couple of times, just to play action where we motion the back and everybody goes to play the run, and you've got one-on-one coverage on the backside. We threw it to the ground a couple of times, and Kelvin felt bad about that. He's got a good arm and a really good release, and so it was nice to see him deliver that one and hit that big play. But it's really hard when you're standing over there on defense and you see that action coming at you, and you've had guys blocking you, and if you're attacking the line, you got guys on your legs, and your coaches are saying, look, you got to keep that ball from crossing the line of scrimmage. Get down there as close to the line of scrimmage as you can. Don't let that thing get out. And then a guy's running behind you, and usually the guy that's supporting the run doesn't have to cover anybody, but that backside guy is the guy that they're counting on when the play side safety turns it back. That backside guy's going to make the tackle unblocked. Well, that he's got a lot of responsibilities back there to cover a vertical route, to cover a post route, to play the middle of the field, and to be a secondary run support player. So those are things that we just got to watch as a staff, and when we see those, then we know the opportunities there. There's probably a lot of opportunities for us to throw play action passes, and we don't do it. We want to run the football, and as long as that clock keeps going, that's fewer opportunities for the other team. That's really the way our offense, is designed, so that we can give our opponents a lot fewer opportunities with the ball. I think total plays, I think they had 60 something. Let's see, total offensive plays. Where are we at, Matt? Yeah, they had 60 and we had 82. So there's probably a lot of defenses in America playing far more than 60 snaps today. And if we can keep our defense from having to do that, playing a lot more snaps, I think it gives our defense a chance to succeed. So it's very much the thought is about our team and what kind of team we are. But it was a great throw and catch, and we actually talked about throwing some others. We hit Kell down the middle on that one very similar type deal, play action. What we didn't hit was the one there late when Luke was in the game. We tried to throw the switch route again, and he threw it a little short. We had him behind him, but just threw it a little short.
Coach, just going to ask you about special teams. Landon Salyers had a field goal, made all the PATs, and then you had two punters in Nick Schrag and Zach Potter, and they were rugby punting at times. Just a little bit about how you felt the special teams did today.
I'm so glad to see us hit a field goal. That went after going 0 for 2 last week, and Landon did a nice job right there the last play of the first half. We had a strong wind in our face there going toward the scoreboard. So we thought, you know what, if we can drive the ball on a rugby punt and drive it into the wind, it'll give us a little more time to punt the ball, get some coverage down there, and we didn't do a great job of driving those rugby punts, and it's something that it's not an easy kick to master, because you don't want to kick it high enough that the guy can catch it in the air. So you're trying to kick, it's like bowling. If you bowl, you'd like to throw a strike every time, but sometimes it ends up in the gutter, and sometimes you gotta, half the pins you knock down, the other half you don't. It's a little bit like a rugby punt. You're just trying to find that bowling alley where they can't block it and get their hand in the way, and the returner's not gonna be able to catch it on the run. And sometimes it hits a little bit sooner than you want to, and that ball's shaped funny, so it doesn't get that nice roll that you like all the time. We had one that was really good, a really long punt. The others weren't as good. So we changed it up, as you notice there. We punted way too many times for us to be able to really compare kicks. I wish we didn't have any punts at all, but the Potter's done a really nice job, kind of being a utility knife for us. Rugby punts and has an Aussie style punt, and he can kick a field goal in a pinch, and he holds on the PATs, so he's a really valuable guy.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Coach.